welcome to this episode of Tripology. I'm Alan, and I'm here with the ever-hospitable Adam.
My goodness, Alan, you're not going to believe where we are.
Where are we?
We're in a dorm room.
Oh, I feel like Tripology's constantly been on a trajectory towards recording in a dorm room. It's nice that it's finally happened.
I think even acoustically, dorm rooms allow a decent recording, a decent level of sound.
They have a vibe, don't they? It feels like this is the home away from home. But we're not just in any dorm. We're in a dorm room accompanied by someone with, a vast lot of experience being a hostel guy. So let's talk about that. Adam, introduce our guest.
We're here with a hostel manager, Remi.
Hey, nice to see you guys, and thank you for having me.
Thanks ever so much for making the time. You offer a really unique perspective of travel and a backpacking experience because you've worked for how many years now in hostels?
Since 2015, so that's 8 years.
Incredible.
Wow. Yeah.
And we'd just like to have a chat to you about
sure.
your
That's
experiences and hopefully a couple of specific stories you got to share.
Oh, yeah, more than happy to chat over, the last few years. It's been very up and down and exciting and crazy stories left, right, and center. So
I think often on the podcast, we share our stories from life on the dorm, but obviously we have a very different perspective about it because regardless of how many hundreds of rooms we've stayed in all over the world, we've never bunkered down for as long as I imagine you have in a specific hostel. So you must see a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I see a lot of stuff, hear a lot of stuff because not everything has happened to me, but happened to other people. The people that moved to, come from other hostels also have oh, you'll never believe this one. And you're like, well, I got one better than you, It's just but there's always that crazy story.
In which countries do you have experience working in hostels?
So I worked in hostels in New Zealand, Australia, Belgium, Canada. And
are there any similarities between?
Yeah, the Australia and New Zealand were very similar because the culture of backpacking is very prominent, whereas in Canada, the culture of backpacking exists, but it's very different than Australia and New Zealand. I don't know if you've probably traveled yourself and you notice that, in Australia, it's a backpacker is kind of a party hostels, right? New Zealand's the same, and it's just in Canada, it's you have a few party hostels, but it's mostly hostels. In Belgium, it's in Belgium's just, just hostels. There are a few party hostels in Brussels, but not as many as Australia, New Zealand. Wherever you go to a hostel, it's most likely going to be a party hostel. So slight difference for sure.
Wicked. And is that what first drew you to working in a hostel, was the party?
Just the money, really. I was just broke, landed in New Zealand and no money, and I was just oh, they're looking for work. For workers, I'm looking for work. It's just I just apply and started on a night shift, which, if you want crazy things to happen to you as a hostel staff, do the night shift. In a party hostel in central Auckland, there's 550 beds, 10 stories. Full every single day of summer. Great time.
Okay, well, let's embark on some stories. I think we need to hear sort of some of the crazy things that have happened whilst you've been working at hostels.
Yeah, do you wanna? What are you guys after? It's
your opportunity to talk to the backpacking community writ large. I think now's your chance to sort of vent it all out.
Yeah, I've got a little booklet of stories, and some have happened to me, some have happened to others, and some are probably not safe for sharing. It's just I don't know.
We embrace the weird and the wonderful here on Tripology, so I think it's just whatever comes to mind.
Well, the craziest one that happened to me was definitely in Melbourne, and it just happened to me and a few other of my colleagues, with one guest in particular, and that one I think is usually my go-to, just because
it's a bad guest story.
It is a very interesting guest story.
Okay.
Yeah, it's quite long though, so I don't know if you.
Well, we've got nothing but time. The endless expanse of the universe awaits. So
absolutely, we'd love to hear it.
Awesome. Well, I haven't told this story actually. I think the last time I told it was 2 years ago. So I'm kind of I used to tell it a lot, and I just kind of lost the flow. So excuse me if sometimes I just gotta remember exactly what happened. I was working the front desk. I was a front desk supervisor, and this was regular, Thursday shift, evening shift, and I checked this guy in, a young German kid, 19 years old, freshly off the plane, just asking questions. His English was all right, and then I checked him in. It was a really nice interaction. Just I was oh, where you from? He's I'm from Germany. My name's Chris. I was oh, cool. How long are you here? He's oh, I don't know. I just landed and just gonna see, and that was it. And it goes on. Another day goes by. I'm on the desk the next day. Same again, the PM. But I had a party to attend at 8:30, so I was going to finish a bit early that day at 8. And so it's usually 2 people on the PM shift, and so it's me and this girl Jade. I'm going to throw a bunch of names because it's just easy because there's a few people involved in this story.
Yeah, that's okay.
So, going back to them. But yeah, so it's just me and Jade, and then it's like 7:50, just cashing out, about to go and get ready to crack a beer open. And this lady just comes out to front desk. She's like, "Well, it's just like I want to change rooms." I was like, "Okay, like what's the reason? What's happening?" She's like, "There's a guest in my room that's making me feel very uncomfortable." I'm like, "Okay, right." And then I look at Jade, and she's just kind of like, "Fuck you, you're just gonna leave me with this again, aren't you? You're just gonna go drink beers." And me and Jade had a bit of a thing, so I was just like, "You know what? I'll be nice. I'll take one for the team. I'll just go and sort this one out for you.
Okay.
You can deal with the line of chuck-ins." And so I go upstairs with the guests, and then I find Christian, the German kid that I just checked in the day before, just like super sweaty, just like yelling, just like, "Oh, I need to go to hospital. I need to go to hospital." And it was just like, I was like, "Okay, Christian," trying to calm him down. It's like, "What's going on, Christian?" He's like, I don't know. I just feel really bad. It's just like I just need to go to hospital. You got to call like 911. I was like, "Well, it's 000 in Australia, but like,
close enough."
Yeah, close enough. I was like, he just survived. Forgive him. But I was like, he was in a really bad state. So I was like, and I see the lady was a bit disturbed because she's like, "Oh, I don't want to share a room with them."
Sure.
I was like, yeah. So I was like, "Okay, right. Well, we'll go back down to front desk." And then I saw the lady out. We should find her another bed. And then I called 000 and it's like, "Hey, I got a guest here and he just wants to go to the hospital." And they're like, "Well, sorry, we just don't do that." It's just like, "We need an emergency." I was like, okay. Then they started asking me a bunch of questions. And I was like, "Well, I don't know. Maybe it's best if I put Christian on the phone." So I go and get Christian, bring him down. It's like, the paramedics want to talk to you. And it's like, okay, he's on the phone. And it's just, they're asking me questions like, "What have you eaten? What have you drank? Like, what have you been doing?" And it's just like, I can kind of overhear the conversation next to him.
Sure.
He's just like, "Yeah, no, like yesterday I went to the beach and I just met some people and just hang out and I smoked with them and they gave me some stuff." And this was in St Kilda, Melbourne. So I don't know if you've been to St Kilda in Melbourne, but if you go to the beach at night, it's the kind of people you meet there. It's kind of like
Party animals.
Yeah, party animal is just like, the smoke they're gonna give you, not the regular smokes, and the stuff they're gonna give you is not the regular stuff. So like the paramedic comes back, he's just like, gives me the phone back, and it's just like, well, it sounds like he's just been taking some drugs and he's just on the come down.
It sounded like that to me as well. When I heard about him sweating in that room, making people uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I don't know about you, but I've imagined him fully naked. Was he clothed?
Yeah, I think that is just you.
That's just me.
That was just he had some clothes on.
You said the word sweaty, and I imagined him naked.
No, it's just like the sheets were a bit damp. It's like you could tell he'd been like, it's been a rough few hours for him. But anyway, the paramedic is just like, "Well, we're not going to come because this doesn't require help. But there's a clinic next to you guys. Best is just to go and take him to a doctor."
Yeah, sober up.
Yeah, sober up. And, it's just like the doctor will do some tests and see. I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, but this time it's like, it's 8:20. I'm just like, fuck. It's just like, I really want to go to this party, but it's like, all right, Jade, like I will take him to the hospital. And then, when you finish, just come meet me. And so, like, I go back upstairs with him, and it's just like, okay, right, we'll just grab your stuff. We're just going to do a short 10-minute walk to the clinic that's nearby. And then the doctor is going to look after you, and then you will just come back here, like extra customer service, which I didn't need to do, right? But I was just like, okay, I'll help this kid. He's just, I felt for him. I was just like, I understand.
Sure.
So we go up, he's just back to his stuff. I was like, okay, bring your computer. You might have to spend the night, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, okay, cool. We get down to the lobby, and then he just grabs my arm. He's like, "Remi, like, I need my star." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "I need my star." I was like, "What do you mean you need your star?" He's like, "No, my star. Like, I need my star." And I was like, okay. Like, he was very emotional, very like
About the star.
And I was like, in his English, he's a strong German accent. I was like, maybe saying something else than star. I don't know what he's saying. I'm like, okay, so we go back up. We just, he goes into his backpack and he just pulls out an actual, like, something like this big, 20 centimeters large, shaped into a star, metallic with like some stuff in the middle, like antennas on the side, and like quickly they have a glance, and I'm like, I was like, what is that? And I was like, at this point, I just want to go to a party, so like, don't ask questions.
Sure,
just go with the flow.
You thought asking questions might delay my experience here, so
yeah. So I was just like, just like, okay, go, grab your star, we go, and then on the way to the clinic, it's a 10-minute walk. I was like, well, I might as well, like, do some minor conversation. I was like, so questions, like, how long have you been in Australia? He's like, oh yeah, I learned it yesterday. I was like, yeah, you told me this yesterday. And he was like, I was like, okay, cool. So like, what brought you to Australia? And he's like, well, I'm running away. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, I'm trying to get close to North Korea. I just found like North Korea. I was like, why is he on about? And like, and knowing, it's like, you might still be on drugs and like, kind of like,
Yeah.
it's just like, okay, North Korea. I was like, why North Korea? It's like, the CIA is after me. I was like, what do you mean the CIA is after you? It's like, yeah, it's just, I was on a forum back in Germany and I just said some bad stuff about Donald Trump. This was the Trump era, like early on, like, 2016. And he was, I said some bad stuff about Trump and he was just like, I know the CIA is after me. They want to kill me. And I was like, okay, doesn't really add up in my mind. So I'm like, but like, why North Korea? It's like, oh, because I want to be close to Kim Jong too, because they're enemies, so he's going to protect me. At this point, I'm like, okay, this kid's definitely still on whatever he's taken, and he's just like going on. And I was like, okay, all right, we're gonna switch the topic. And so I was just like, the star, like, what's about the star? I was like, so questions, that's like,
it's an amazing world where that's the safety question.
Well, yeah, and I was also curious because I saw it and I was like, this looks very odd. And then I was like, like another 5 minutes in the walk to the clinic. I was like, so what about the star? I was trying to like change the topic, and it's like, oh yeah, that's my communication device. It's like, what do you mean your communication device? It's like, well, there's magnets in the center. And these magnets are really strong, and there's antennas on the side. And then we deploy the whole thing. You can talk with other like extraterrestrial people. And I was like, okay. Yeah. And then I was like, okay, it might be on something. Maybe it might also be really weird because the star is very real, right?
Yeah. The star probably predates the drugs.
Exactly. So I was just like, it's very odd. And I was like, okay, how does it work? It's like, he goes into the full, like, ask me about the theory of relativity, which I don't know. I just like, do you know? I was like, no. And then he goes on about like talking about it for like 2-3 minutes. He's like, yeah. And then all I need now is like stronger magnets. If I get stronger magnets, then I can talk to more people. And I was like, okay, well, that's the clinic.
They've got ever such a magnet collection in there.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I've had enough of this guy for tonight.
Yeah, you're very much risking a 1-star review at this point.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not taking my chances. I was like, so like, I explained to the ladies at the desk, I was like, he's staying with us, the backpacker hostel is across the street. It's just like, here's our number. He just needs to see a doctor. He's not feeling well. Just ring us. Somebody will come and collect him. So I go back to the hostel. I was like, Jade, they're going to ring you. Somebody's going to have to go collect him, depending on the time. And then I go. Right, I'm just like, I'll see you at the party. I do spend my night, come back the next day.
So hold on. So you've left him there in the clinic. I don't know about you, Adam, but that seems like the perfect time to take a stock of the situation.
I agree.
And go on a brief meditation break. There's a German man who's been sweating profusely. He's on some substances and he's got a magnetic star that's allowing him to communicate with extraterrestrials. Have you ever been so enthralled?
No, I want to hear more about this party.
Well, let's go on a brief meditation break and come back and hear the ending. Okay, we're back. Our conscious minds returning into our bodies, and we're here. I mean, like the German guy, we're having an almost existential crisis listening to this story. Let's hear the rest of it. You've dropped him off at the clinic.
Yeah, I dropped it off at the clinic, and I was like, that's my night. By this time, it was like 2 hours overtime on my time that I was just like not going to get paid for. So it's like, yeah, go to the party, go back, and then the next day I show up for my PM shift at like 2:30 again. I usually show up a bit early, so I tell everyone, and let's just come in and let's just see like, police cars everywhere. And I was like, whoa, what the hell's going on? Like, it's just,
It's escalated.
It's escalated. Yeah.
Rarely a good sign.
At this point, very unrelated, right? There's just the police there, which happens, the backpacker hostel.
Yeah.
And then, so I go in and I start talking to the girls. And this is where I find out from the other staff that as soon as I dropped him off from the clinic, he went into and saw the doctor. The doctor started doing some tests on him. He got really afraid because he thought he was with the CIA trying to kill him. So he just left the clinic, booked it, came back to the hostel. And then the clinic rang us and be like, hey, this kid didn't pay for his visit. You need to send him back. And so like the night girls just kind of was like, okay, right, question is like, do you have insurance, blah, blah, blah. They do the whole thing, send him back. He goes back on his own, goes in there and he's about to pay. And the doctor comes out, sees the doctor, books it again. Just off.
Goodness.
He thought the doctor
he thought the doctor was working with Donald Trump, he was trying to
part of the CIA.
Part of the CIA trying to like kill
organize
him.
Organize a
yeah,
sting
so
operation.
Like completely like,
What a stressful thing to be this man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It must be horrible.
I would say so. We've got lovely people like Remi trying to help him out.
Him,
So
what
on earth happened?
Yeah, and then it's just, second time around, just they didn't come back to the hostel. I think he came back at like 6 a.m. in the morning, and like the lady's like, okay, this kid's weird, we're just gonna, something's going on, like he might have some personal issues, we're just gonna put him in a private room. So put him in a private room, and then he woke up in the morning and was really like, oh, where am I? Like, what's happening? You know, like by then you would assume that whatever he had taken, if he had taken anything,
Of course, yeah.
you know, would have went off.
Some bloody strong stuff they offer up in
Yeah,
St.
sure.
Kilda.
If you want anything, you go to the beach in St. Kilda.
Yeah,
Good
you
luck.
wouldn't lose your mind for a week and say,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so he wakes up in the morning and he just comes to front desk. He's like, I need my package. And the lady's like, okay.
not
like,
this again.
so, you know, by then everybody knows of Christian. It was just like,
Right.
Christian's having a rough time. Just we're going to try to help him out. And then yeah, she's like very, you know, demanding. It's like, I need my package. I know my package there. I was like, oh, we don't have a package under your name. And it's so like the girl's kind of like, you know, sit him down. He's like, no, like I need my package. It's just like, and so like the supervisor in the morning was just like, okay, I already like this can't go on. Like we'll just, you know, sit him down and talk to him. And then in the meantime, we had received a package. We just didn't know. Like it was all in like the label was in Chinese.
It wasn't for Christian, or
it was not addressed to Christian, but there was a big package at front desk. We just didn't put one and one together.
Okay.
Is in Chinese, so we don't know. It's just like, you know, if it's a Christian, maybe we'd have put the two together, but we didn't. And then yeah, she sits him down and she's just like, so like Christian, like you know, she's really friendly, like very caring person, and she just manages to chat to him. She like he kind of opens up a bit, and she's just like, so like what's in the package? He's like, well, I'm not sure. In this one, it's either my really strong magnet or it's my guns. She's like, your guns? She's like, what? He's like, yeah, I've ordered some magnets and guns on the dark web and addressed them to the hostel. So I'm just waiting for them. And now she's just kind of be like, okay. Like,
I really hope it's the magnets, Christian.
absolutely. And then and Sophie's just, you know, that's the staff is just talking to him. She's like, so like, why would you need guns? And he's like, oh, well, I'm here to fight for ISIS. And you know, this was like 2016 when it was like, yeah. You know,
taking a turn, isn't it?
It is taking a turn, yeah. So like we were just like, okay, and then she's like, right, this is like the situation has escalated. Like, you know, like we don't know if he's still like doing like we don't know, but we have to treat it as a serious.
His loyalty to North Korea was fickle, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, it's amazing how suspicious he is of people, but also simultaneously open about his actions and what he's up to.
Yeah,
absolutely. And he's just all he had to do is just talk to him like he was normal, and he's just like open up. So he opened up to her, and then she was just like went back to like the hostel manager. She's like, this kid's just like, you know, he's ordered some guns and he wants to fight for ISIS. I don't like this. I'm gonna call the police. And the manager's like, no need for the police. Blah,
okay.
Blah. She's like, screw that. I'm calling the police. So she calls the police.
Yeah, 000 that stuff, right?
000 that stuff. She explains the situation, and then hence the police cars. But like I came in at the end, like this happened like on 11. The whole SWAT anti-tourist team was there. It's just like, you know, searching the whole hostel. So they grabbed him, took the story, like took him to his room, and then in his backpack they found a bulletproof jacket.
A flak jacket, a bulletproof vest.
Jacket, yeah, in his backpack. And it's just like we were like, that's when everyone was just like, oh shit, like, you know, like, yeah, that's just crazy. It's
yeah,
like,
I mean, at this
like,
point, you've got to be thinking, this guy's so divorced from reality. He's got armor. He's talking about ordering guns.
Yeah, and it's just like, and he's got like this weird stars. He talks to like, you know, and then the box that we received, we opened it up, like the manager opened it up like the day after because we didn't think, and then it's just like 2 big pieces of metal in there. It just brings them out and they just go. That was the magnets. That was his magnets.
Wow.
And then so for like a week, we're like, where the fuck are the guns going to arrive?
Yeah,
you know, like,
They were strong enough, these magnets, that if your finger was in the middle of them...
we had never been able to take them apart. It was just like, super strong. It was just like, okay, this is like dodgy. And then, for the week after that, I was just expecting guns to just arrive at the hospital.
Can you imagine how many people that you've been able to communicate with using a star? If you had access to those magnets, thank goodness.
Yeah, it's just crazy. So like he got arrested, got taken away. We don't know why. We never got him there. We don't know. And then, you know, we like done some research, managed to find him on Facebook. And then like 3 months later, one of the staff that was like, Sophie, that called the police, like found his Facebook profile, and he posted just one status. He was like, all in German. It's just like, I know I got here. I will have my revenge on the staff. And we were like, what?
Oh,
yeah. It's like, it's just very like dark. We were just like, oof. It's like,
wow,
this is scary. And then so for like a whole month, she was like super scared of like him coming back because we didn't know if he'd been released, he'd been sent back to Germany, or if it's just like, you know, we don't know.
Yeah.
So we don't know. Christian,
he still exists as a human being.
Yeah, Christian's still somewhere, and then, you know.
But the guns never showed up.
The guns never showed up, luckily.
Do we think, is your intuition that the guns never existed, or that...
Maybe he's not, I don't know. Like, he was very, like, talking to him, it's just like sometimes it made a lot of sense and sometimes it made no sense at all. And I was just like, yeah. But he did order the magnet and they came from, somewhere.
Proof of concept.
Like,
I know. That's incredible. Maybe there's an area of tripology, a market that we're not tapping into out of space. We talk about travel on this planet, but maybe there's other areas we should be exploring.
Yeah.
Next week, resting underneath the microphone, I'll have a 5-pointed star with some magnets stuffed in the middle of it, ready to communicate with the ether. I mean, it's incredible. Is that the wildest thing that's happened to you as a hostel?
That is one of the wildest ones because, over a few days and then, high, consequences. Like, he was taken away. It's just like all the other ones are like fun stuff of like people doing silly stuff. But that one was just really like, it got us for like a whole month just kind of on edge because like it was that time when there was like all the shootings and there was an attack in Melbourne, like on the main street. Somebody just drove right through.
Yeah,
so
I lived in Melbourne then.
Yeah.
I lived in Melbourne through that.
So you remember that? So that was around that time. So it was just like kind of like, Well,
I actually think it's interesting from this perspective. Had that guy not checked into a hostel, had he just gone to a hotel or something like that, I mean, there would have been no one there to help him. Like, surely under arrest, under lock and key, where he can get medical help and stuff, is the best place for Christian. We agree. Mm-hmm. So it's good that you guys were there to help him.
And then to me, it was just a bulletproof jacket because, like, as a 19 years old, you don't get a bulletproof jacket like that, right? It's just like, how did you get it? Where it come from? Like, he just arrived in the country 2 days prior. It's very, like, but it was there. It's physical. It's just like,
she saw the early warning signs, didn't she? Your friend.
Yeah.
And, I mean, as crazy as that story is, and something that not many people listening to the podcast will be able to relate to, it still hasn't deterred you from working in hostels.
Oh no, absolutely not. No, it's just kind of like a fun story to pass on, and it's just like, it's just the fun stuff that you get working in hostels. I got quite a few not similar, but it's just ones you're just like, oh, that's questionable.
That's amazing. What do you think you learned from that experience, seeing it from your perspective?
Even if somebody seems like they're in distress or danger, it's just kind of like, not in the right place. It's easy for us to put judgment, like, that guy's crazy. It's just like, no way, I don't want to touch him or be near him or anything. But like, me having had that conversation with him was just kind of like allow the girls to be like, okay, there's something going on. And for that to continue and for us to be able to just, have that conversation and be like, okay, like it led to an arrest, and I don't know if there was, I don't know what happened. I don't know if there's evidence of it, anything, but it's just like he maybe prevented something, and that we don't know. We'll never know. But it's just, it's just like if you see someone that's just acting out, sometimes engaging can help them too. So.
Yeah, I would also like to say as well, from us as backpackers and travelers. We're always so grateful of the environment that you give us, that you sort of allow us to enjoy our time anywhere, and you're always there on call. So going forward, are you going to continue to work in hostels?
I think so. Yeah, it's just like I was doing, because it's easy to get a job in any country when you move around in hostels. And I was always kind of like a supervisor, blah blah blah. And I was like, it'd be nice if I could actually, that could be my job. But and then I got given that opportunity, and I want to give. My goal is to be able to give the same opportunity to other people. Sure. So other young, people that are just I kind of like this, side of life where things are less serious, and we get to meet a lot of people, and be able to provide that next step. Be like, hey, you know what? This can actually be. You can make a living out of this.
I suppose as well, I've worked in hospitality and customer service, and I know that when there is a particularly difficult client, you're very aware of other people's experience of the situation as well. So the fact that you've been able to manage that, which is like, it's drastic measures, isn't it? Really?
Quite 000.
Yeah. That's it. What an amazing story. Thank you so much for sharing it.
All right, thank you so much for having me.
Do you have a conversely light story of a time where, I don't know, something that really exemplifies the best things about staying in a hostel? Just a brief one.
The complete opposite.
Yeah, the opposite. The anti-Christian.
The anti-Christians. Because, I mostly focus on the bad stories. That one I'm going to share, and this is from, the current hostel I work at, is just... last summer, we had a great crew of people, and it's just like a whole hangout. And then obviously people hang out and they form couples. And there was 4 couples that were formed. And to this day, a year later, these 4 couples are still traveling the world together in different places. One of them is coming back tomorrow to come and say hi. But yeah, it's just great to see people that got together, through work and through the hostel, and taken into somewhere else, like somewhere in Australia, somewhere in France, and it's just like, they're going to Chile together. It's just wonderful to see that people, it connects people together.
Amazing. That's beautiful, isn't it?
Incredible, inspiring, absolutely.
There we go.
Heartwarming.
Flak jackets, magnets, the ordering of guns from the dark web, but
do
also community, beauty, staying in hostels, love, travel, all those
Relationships.
things. They're beautiful, aren't they, Adam?
They are.
I don't know about you, but the present day is starting to feel like a right monotonous affair, and I would like to blast off into next week. Will you come there with me?
I'm starving. Let's go.
Let's go there now. Thank you for joining us,
Cheers, Remi.
Bye.